Page 52, Prelude in E minor, Opus 28, number 4. 4/4 time with a pickup beat. Start with the right hand. Octaves. And watch the fingering, it's 5/4. And it's like a 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda. So it's 4 E-enda, 4 E-enda. Now this is a slow piece, it's largo. Largo is like really slow. So you got time. And then the melody's the top note. Finger legato is best connected with the fingers. You can't always the bottom one. Lift up. The E is only a dotted half note. Don't hold it down. Just lift it up when you play the E, C, and then hold the B down, and then lift up. So the C's by itself, and then again. Their fingering is fine here. You can slide off, and then see this fourth note is pretty much by itself each time. Third line, second measure is play it with the fourth finger and substitute the fifth. No. You're here and the dotted rhythm, you're going to play the 16th notes with fourth finger, just play it with the fifth finger. To me that's much easier than what they're suggesting, so I recommend that. Rather than playing it with the fourth and substituting the fifth, just play it with the fifth. So, like so. Now, tricky part, watch out. Finger this legato. And then up. And then the kicker. Last measure of this page. Look out. They're saying this. Reach down second, that's quite a stretch. And then 2, 3, and then reach up here. Well, it gets it legato. If your hand's big enough, if your hand isn't big enough, that won't work. So I'm suggesting this. Thumb, crossover, that part, because that's not so bad. You can do that, I hope. And then reach up and play the D sharp with fourth finger, and immediately substitute the thumb. We can get away with it in this situation because this is a largo piece. This is a very slow piece. So these eighth notes don't travel very fast at all, and you've got time to go here. You may have to practice that, but you need to be able to do that anyway. So here, and then 2 on the F sharp, and now you can reach the D. And that's a triplet. 4 and and then we're back to what we were doing before. Let's go to the second line on page 53. You're here, and the 16th notes with the third finger and immediately fourth. No, just leave third on it. Here, because you got to come up here. You're going to have to look down at the keyboard. You're going to have to lift up. You can't do that legato. The pedal will help. It's just that if you have third finger on it, you don't have to go as far. If you have fourth, you got to go further. And I'm trying to minimize the jump. It helps a little. They're saying on the next measure a 2-1. So it's easier to reach that. If you can reach that from the second finger, then you can do a 1-2. And then they're saying a 1-2, and those are all D sharps. Triplet, 2 enda. 1 and 2 enda. See, I said before in another video, or multiple videos, piano players have to be able to go back and forth between duple and triple counting. Duple is 1 and 2 and 3, and triple 1 and 2 and you got to be able to go back and forth at any time. This is one of those examples in that last measure, the second line there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and type thing. You have to be able to do that, and this is a good piece for that because you get that in a few places, a couple of places, someplace, I don't know. Third line down, now we're finally calming down a little bit. On the dotted rhythm there on the third line, I tend to do a 1-2. I just don't like using the same finger if I don't have to. And then at the end, it's bass clef. Here, connect the top note. Connect the top note. So I just lift up on the B a little early. You can't connect it, it's the same note. And then again at the bottom, I just lift up on the B a little early and go there. Left hand. Left hand has to be really, really, really soft because the left hand is just providing a harmony. It's kind of interesting because the chord sequences he goes through, the colors he adds to this helps to make the piece. It's very important. Just remember the melody is still the top note of the right hand. Don't get in the way. So we want to help it. We want to complement it. We want to support it. And these are so slow, these quarter notes. Now, what I do, what I was taught to do, on a real slow piece like this, or any slow piece, is when you get to the extremes of the counting, either counting really, really slow or really, really fast, that gets to be a problem. Because you go 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's hard to keep a steady tempo when you're counting that slow. Same thing on the fast side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That gets ugh. So what we do is we adjust the beat slightly to help the counting out. So in this piece, any piece like it, I would divide this up and count 8th notes. Because that way it is a 1 and 2 and that's a little more comfortable. I can keep that pace a lot easier than 1, 2. So throughout this piece, I would suggest you count 8th notes, whether you're playing them or not, because it keeps the tempo steady. So it's here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And it's this way. I don't think I really need to play it all for you. They're quarter notes. All I'm saying is count 8th notes as you do this. And when you get over to the top of page 53, the accidentals, look out. The second measure or the first line, you're okay. But then you got the F naturals. You've had these before. And the next one now, it's an F natural G sharp. I do a 2-3 on that. And then you can come down to a 4-3 or 4-2. And then next measure is G natural. And now look at this. It's a C sharp, E, A sharp. And then here, and then an F sharp, A, C. So work it out. It may not necessarily sound right, but double check the notes because that's just Chopin. You have to watch how he does this all the way through. At the end, last 2 measures, your B natural. They give you a natural sign being nice because there was a flat in the previous measure. It's a natural anyway. I do a 5-2. You can do a 5-1 if you want, and then here. The pedal are connected. Then you put the hands together once you've got them figured out as separately. And 2 and 3 and this is soft. That's this. That's soft. Everything else has to be very soft. Good luck with that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Third line down, look out. We're here. 3 and 4 and. We have a little swell going to here. Not much, just a little bit. you got that little swell, go up to here, and then come back down. So it's here. I tend to retard just a hair. It's more like a tenuto thing. It's a felt retard. It's a, and then you come back down. This needs to lead into this, like an ornament leading into it. You need to do that some more. Let's go to the second line on page 53. You're here. Now start crescendoing here, but don't be loud here. This is still soft. Now a little louder. Now you're medium loud. Don't speed this up. It's 1 and 2 and same we've been doing. Get softer. Now you're soft. So you don't want to be soft till here. So take your time getting softer. Line left hand, yeah, in the first measure I do a 2-5 for the G sharp. That sound wonderful? And then 2 beats of complete silence, and then finish it off very, very softly. That's the top note. Everything else needs to be extremely soft. Don't use the soft pedal if you can help it. Try and do it with the hands. And connect that top note here. Then we use the pedal to connect it, because this is a legato piece, but we have to be careful again because the pedal has to support things, not get in the way. So we've done all of this so we can hear the notes in the harmony clearly, whether we wanted to or not, and get all that worked out, and then we can add the pedal and you can understand the effect the pedal has on the whole mess. So at the top, it's a legato pedal. And you can pretty much pedal it like they're showing you at the beginning. 2 and 3 and 2 and changes. I really need to play this for you. There's lots of recordings of this. Let's go on. Second line, second measure, you're here. Now on the third measure there, I change it on the last 2 beats. I don't hold all of this. That's too much. That just, so change it. You can pedal the first 2 beats okay, but change it on the next 2 beats on the third measure, third line. And then on the last measure, I lift it up right after I play the notes. So you're down. As long as you're fingering this legato, that's great, because you don't want pedal in any of this. This is like a bridge between the two. It's like an ornament. A lot of composers, including Chopin, wrote in the ornaments, and this is like an ornament, this whole thing. And then we're back to what we were doing before. Second line on page 53, you're here. Louder. Now you're pedaling on each beat here. Softer. Now you're soft. Each beat, just like they're showing, just pedal it like they're showing. Hands and the pedal come up on beat 3, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. the pedal acts behind the hands. Change it again after you play the notes. And again after you play the notes. And you can hold that down for a while and let the sound fade away. Then you lift the keys up and slowly lift the pedal up. And let the sound die away. Just take your time. And by then everybody's snoring because they've fallen asleep, and it's great. It's a wonderful piece.